This is the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief, keeping you informed about the happenings in Annapolis and the area. Local news, local sports, local events, local opinion, and of course, local weather. The Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief starts now.
Good morning. It's Wednesday, October 2nd, 2019. This is John Frenaye, and this is your Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief. Well, the Maryland Transportation Authority is going to give it another shot. They had a great idea when they started this $27 million redecking plan of the Bay Bridge, and then they realized it wasn't such a great idea. So they came up with another great idea, only to realize that that wasn't such a great idea. So now we're on to the latest great idea. And what they're going to be doing is going to cashless tolling at the Bay Bridge, but only from noon till 10 p.m. on Thursdays and Fridays. So that means if you have an Easy Pass, it's just going to be the same. You just zip through the toll booth with your Easy Pass. If you do not have an Easy Pass and you typically would pay cash, you zip through the toll booth and they're going to mail you a bill for $4 for each time you go through the toll booth. I don't know what that's going to cost the state, but I guess we'll find out at some point. If you don't have an Easy Pass, this is the best time to get it. You can pick them up at your local Giant grocery store. It's that simple. Also, under Thursdays and Fridays, but only under severe backup and weather permitting, they may implement two-way operations allowing drivers to travel eastbound and westbound on the westbound span. The reason they didn't allow that before was because the lanes were too narrow. However, when they do allow it, they are going to reduce the speeds to 25 and 35 miles per hour. And just to note, on that two-way traffic, the MDTA police are apparently going to be traveling those lanes going very slow to make sure cars stay within the speed limit. They do warn to still expect very heavy congestion and delays throughout the project, which is a 2-year project. So we'll see how this thing works out. The Anne Arundel County Police are investigating a body that was discovered by an apartment complex maintenance worker on Monday. They were called to the area of Elvaton Road and Silent Breeze Court at about 11:15. Police do believe the remains are a female, and they also believe that she died several weeks ago. They are still working to identify the woman, and the remains have been transported to the Chief Medical Examiner's office for identification as well as a cause of death. Now, yesterday, they also found partial human remains in the 400 block of Glenmar Road in Glen Burnie. Police do believe they may be related, but this is over a mile away from where they found most of the body. 18 minutes to walk and 4 minutes to drive, according to Google Maps. So we'll have to wait and see how that plans out there. We should know something a little bit more today. Please make sure you check out eyeonannapolis.net throughout the day because we're going to update that story. Here's one of those what the hell are they thinking stories. Elizabeth Palin, who is one of the attorneys for Jared Ramos, who is accused of killing 5 people in the Capital Gazette newsroom on June 28, 2018, wants the surveillance video showing the deadly attack suppressed during the trial. She says that the video is so upsetting to watch that the recording would, quote, unduly prejudice the jury against her client. She said part of the recording shows one of the 5 victims who died trying to escape the newsroom after she was shot. She said it was inflammatory and inherently upsetting to watch, and argued that still photographs from the scene could be used instead. Anne Arundel County State's Attorney Ann Colt-Litis had a different opinion. She said this is the silent witness in the case. It's very powerful evidence to show the defendant's intent to kill, and she cannot come up with any case law to suggest that evidence should be dumbed down and neutered. Circuit Court Judge Laura Ripken said she is going to review the video in its entirety with the attorneys present and hear more arguments later on today, and she will make a ruling from there. The trial is still scheduled to start on November 4th. Late yesterday afternoon, Historic Annapolis sent out a press release. I'm not quite sure what it means. The title of it was The National Park Service and Historic Annapolis Form a Partnership. And it goes on to say that the National Park Service, Chesapeake Bay Office, and Historic Annapolis are starting a new partnership to better share the story of Annapolis's Chesapeake Bay heritage with the public. Over the next 5 years, Historic Annapolis and the National Park Service are going to collaborate with the City of Annapolis and other partners to enhance Annapolis as a Chesapeake Bay gateway. The first year has a $107,000 grant from the National Park Service's Chesapeake Bay Gateways program, as well as a matching grant from Historic Annapolis. This money will be used to facilitate ongoing outreach strategy for engaging citizens in planning for City Dock, developing an implementation strategy for the forthcoming City Dock Consensus Plan, conducting a feasibility study for the future of the last original Waterman's home in Annapolis, which is the Burtis House, as well as creating an overall interpretive master plan for City Dock. Somehow I think this gives the National Park Service in Historic Annapolis a little bit more ownership of the City Dock area and the city a little bit less. I might be wrong on that one. All right, let's end the news with a great story. 2 police officers from the Anne Arundel County Police Department will be getting protective vests. They are bullet and stab protective vests, and this is all thanks to a charitable donation from an organization called Vested Interest in Canines. Yes, the 2 police officers in question are canines. Canine Samo and Canine Remington will be getting their vests fairly soon. Now, Vested Interest in Canines is a nonprofit based in East Taunton, Massachusetts, and they have made a donation of 3,500 vests across the country in all 50 states. Each vest, depending on the size of the dog, costs between $1,700 and $2,200. And right now, there's an estimated 30,000 law enforcement canines throughout the United States. What a great program. What a great gift to the Anne Arundel County Police Department, and especially to canines Samo and Remington. If you'd like more information on the Vested Interest in Canines, you can go to their website at VIK9S.org. Again, that's VIK9S.org. All right, that does it for the top news today. Please make sure you check out eyeonannapolis.net because we're going to update it throughout the day, especially that story about the body discovered up in Glen Burnie. Click on the first link in the show notes and find out all the different ways that you can connect with us. If you are someplace you can give us a rating or a review, please do that. And let your friends, family, colleagues, and coworkers know about us. That's how we do grow. Other than that, hang tight. We've got George Young with your local DMV weather forecast, and he's coming up in just 1 minute.
When a ring from the United States Naval Academy comes into Zachary's for a center stone, it always makes us wonder, where's this one going? Where's this one been? A nuclear sub in the North Atlantic? A carrier deck in the South Pacific? The moon? 52 astronauts are Academy graduates, from Iwo Jima to Okinawa, Corregidor to the Coral Sea, Midway to the Persian Gulf, Congress to the White House. These rings go where America goes. 73 that went to war were awarded the Medal of Honor. But wherever they go, wherever they may serve, our admiration goes with them.
Zachary's. Online at zacharysjewelers.com. More than a jewelry store, a jeweler.
Going out? You need the most up-to-date local weather. Here's George Young from DMV Weather in Annapolis with today's forecast.
Hey everyone, this is George with DMV Weather, and this is your Eye on Annapolis forecast for Wednesday, October 2nd. Yesterday's 80s gave the Annapolis region a warm start to the month of October, in which normal highs are in the low 70s, and today's midsummer-like temps in the 91 to 98 degree range across all of Anne Arundel County will only add to that start. But then conditions should start to improve after that, as it looks like a frontal boundary will move through the region earlier than expected, bringing highs in the 70s for Thursday, which is a nice change as we originally thought maybe more upper 80s or even lower 90s. And once that front is through, some true fall-like air will move in, with more highs in the 70s Friday, and maybe even only in the 60s for Saturday. And what's even more refreshing about this expected better late than never cool down is the likelihood that temperatures Saturday morning will be in the mid-40s to low 50s for many across the region. So let's get through today's scorcher first, but be sure to grab a pullover or a sweatshirt if out and about Saturday morning for kids' sports or a run or whatever might get you outside before the sun hits full stride. Okay, that's it for today. This is George Young of DMV Weather. Make it a great day out there, and be sure to get our free app on all of your devices by searching for DCMDVA Weather in the Apple or Google App Stores, and also follow us on Facebook and Twitter and on our website at dmvweather.com. So you can always stay weather informed.
Have you ever been to the Annapolis Mall when it opens for the day? Maybe you've noticed the line of folks waiting to get into the Apple Store. As you may know, I'm a Mac user, and today's episode of the Daily News Brief, in fact, all of the episodes of the Daily News Brief have been produced right here on my Mac computer. What you might not know about is MacMedics. They were founded here in Annapolis in 1989, and they are an Apple-authorized premium service provider, the only one in the Baltimore, Annapolis, D.C. area. And what that means to you is that they repair all Apple devices, including the iPhone screens and batteries, all without an appointment. And most repairs are done the same day, usually within 2 hours. They also sell everything except the iPhone and the watch for the same price as Apple. I don't know why you would go anywhere else. Give them a call at 410-757-MACS, or if you're not into the whole letter thing, 410-757-6227. Stop by their retail store in Severna Park on Benfield Road or their service center in Lanham, right off of Route 50. Or you can always check them out online at macmedics.com. I'll tell you, they've saved me quite a few times, and I know they can save you.
You've been listening to the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief. Tell your friends and colleagues this is the podcast where you can keep up on the latest with what's going on in Annapolis. And also tell them about our website, eyeonannapolis.net, where you can find even more information. This podcast comes to you every Monday through Friday at 7 a.m., keeping you informed with the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief. And take a moment to listen to our other podcast, The Maryland Crabs, released every Thursday at noon.